everyone, happy Monday and welcome to another weekly energy forecast. So, in these sessions, we have a little look at the energy of the season, the energy of the moon phase, and the astrological energy of the week, and how they all layer on top of each other to create our experience of the week. So, these sessions are here to help you understand what energy may be influencing you, but mostly they're here to help you develop a little bit of self-literacy as well. They're here for you to understand your unique energy, your unique energetic makeup, and how you respond to certain energies. So, the more we pay attention to how certain cycles influence us, how certain signs influence us, the more we start to understand what conditions we need and how we can support ourselves based on who we are as unique individuals, not as like a blanket statement. So, your astrological birth chart, your human design chart gives you an insight into this, but then also responding how your energy responds and kind of exchanges energy with the outside world, again, is just another layer of self-understanding that can really be very, very supportive. So this is a lovely week. I really, really like this week. I've been looking at this new moon for a while and I've been very excited about it. Um, there's just so much support. I love it. It's a new beginning. And it does feel like that. Like I feel like from December there was quite a lot of, I mean, especially from readings I've done recently, I've realized how difficult that Mars retrograde was for certain people, particularly if you had planets or placements in Cancer and Leo, first house, if Mars was transiting and retrograding through your first house, or just aspecting any of your natal planets in a significant way. Um, but it does feel like, we had that really slow beginning to the year, especially with the Mars retrograde, the Venus, the Mercury retrograde. Things started to get going in April. We had the spring energy, everything started to align, but this really feels like a fresh new beginning. It feels like a threshold moment to me. So this is stepping into a new phase. And it feels very much the theme this week. So Saturn has just changed signs. Saturn changed signs yesterday on Sunday. So we're now in a new phase. Like Saturn only changes signs once every 2.5 to 3 years. So this is a really big deal. This is a big tone shift from Saturn being in Pisces, a watery planet, to being in a fire sign, being in Aries, which is fiery, which is direct, which is impulsive, and fire. Saturn wants to temper that a little bit and kind of create a really positive relationship with that fiery, impulsive energy, but also being a bit more thinking things through, right? Being a bit more mindful and structured within that. And both of those have value when they're in balance. And the Saturn transit, I feel like, is a lot about tempering that and getting that kind of impulsive, fiery, angry side. Under control so it can do its job, right? Because we do need courage. We do need people that kind of step out and do stuff without thinking. That's what the entrepreneur is. That's what the warrior is. That's what um the archetype of, I don't know, I can't think of another one, but it's that sense of like that fearless stepping over the threshold, going first, right? And it is important. However, out of balance, that can be angry, it can be impulsive, it can be reckless. So Saturn is, we're heading into a phase now where Saturn's really going to temper that fire, and so it can do its job even better. So we also have a new moon this week with nothing but good, supportive, harmonious aspects. We've got some sextiles from Saturn and Neptune at the early degrees of Aries, and we've also got a trine from Pluto. Jupiter, Mercury is in its home sign, which is very, very supportive for this new moon because it's ruled by Jupiter, it's ruled by Mercury, and then we also have Jupiter co-present in that sign as well, which only happens once every 12 years. So it's just so nice. And it's a real opportunity here to just make the most of it. So I would really encourage you to have a look at where this falls in your chart. We've also got the layering of the spring energy, really encouraging action. So wood element supports us in directing some of that busy, fast air energy. So we've got a lot of Gemini energy this week. Mercury's moving into Gemini on Monday. So we've got the sun there, we've got Mercury there, we've got Gemini new moon, we've got lots of planets in air signs, we've got planets in air signs supporting this. So that air energy, it's fast, it's dynamic, it moves quickly, but when it's not grounded, when it's not directed, it can kind of just be a little bit all over the place, right? So the spring season, with it being directional and like forward moving, that is supporting some of this energy this week, sending it where we want it to go. So being clear and intentional and being grounded at a time like this, particularly with a new moon like this, is one of the best things you can do for yourself. So over on the membership, we're working with the belt and the bridge flow, all about connection, all about grounding. So do come over there and join us. We've got loads of practices. We've got some gorgeous ground sessions, daily practices, longer sessions, longer energy medicine yoga sessions, all to do with supporting you and getting grounded and present so you can intentionally direct energy. And this feels like a really, really important theme for this week. Um, Again, though, it's lots of mental energy, and that can also disconnect you from your body as well. So, air energy is the mind, right? So, that groundedness and that connection, again, is really helpful. Okay, so let's get into the astrology of the week. So, Monday, the 26th of May, Mercury is entering Gemini. Mercury is entering its home sign of Gemini, and this is going to be ruling the new moon, which is happening on early hours of Tuesday morning. So, this is absolutely brilliant energy. This is Mercury loves to be in Gemini. This is clear thinking, clear communication. And it just feels like this flow. When a planet is in its home sign, there's just this resonance and a sense of like, it can just do what it's here to do, right? Which is move quickly, be dynamic, be curious. It's fun, it's flirty, it's sociable, and it's just setting us up for a very, very nice new moon. The sun is here anyway, but Mercury moving into the sign, it just gives us that clear-mindedness. But again, we just need to make sure we're grounded because we can kind of like air energy is very up here. So we can almost like, especially if you've got a lot of air in your chart, you've got a lot of fire in your chart, you could kind of have this tendency to like blow away if we're not grounded, right? So it's so, so, so important. But this is how you will make the most of this really good energy this week. And then Mercury, as it moves into Aries, it's going to sextile Saturn in Aries at 0 degrees, and then also sextile Neptune at 1 degree straight away. So again, that Aries point, that 0 degree point of Aries, it's the first degree of the zodiac. It's not just the first sign of the zodiac, it's the first degree of the zodiac. And it really is a new beginning point. So not only are we having a new moon, we are also having the first aspect that Mercury in its home sign has been having with Saturn that's positive in quite a while because it's been squaring Saturn in Pisces for the last 3 years. So feels like it's like a first time new aspect anyway. With Saturn being at that 0 degree point and then Neptune being there, that's going to really be the theme for the next couple of years. So again, it's just ushering in like a new phase. So this is supportive, it's constructive, and it's creative. So Saturn is constructive, Neptune is creative, and then Mercury brings this clear-mindedness to the Saturn in Aries that's just going to take the action and do the doing. And the Neptune is bringing the clarity on the dream that we're going to take action on and move forward, right? So there's like, this is like, this is an aspect which is very much tied up in this new moon, which it gives cognitive insight on how to bring a creative vision into physical reality. So this new moon, I think, more out of any of the new moons we've had so far this year, is just so important to set a clear intention and really pay attention to what dreams are almost like tapping you on the shoulder and maybe you're ignoring them. Like set some really tangible goals here because Saturn, the support from Saturn here is going to give you the ability to see this through for the long haul. So there's creativity supporting you, there's vision supporting you from Neptune. Then we've got this Saturn, which is going to enable you to actually take the action and the clear cognitive insight from Mercury. So it's just so supportive. And then we then have the new moon in Gemini at 6 degrees, and that's happening at 4 a.m. on Tuesday, the 27th of May. So that the Mercury transit with the Saturn and Neptune is not separate. It absolutely is a part of all of this new moon energy. So this new moon is also trining Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So again, look at where this is falling in your chart. So what you want to look at is where you have Gemini, where you have Aries, and where you have Pluto, because these are going to be areas of life that are going to be very much activated for you at this new moon. So they can also, if you're not sure of where to set intentions, then they can give you an indication of maybe where there is lots of flowing supportive energy so you can set intentions in that area of life. So for example, for me, Gemini is in my sixth house of daily work, rhythms, routines. It is trining Pluto in my second house of finances, and then it is sextiling um Aries, which I think, oh gosh, where is Aries in my chart? Can't remember. But anyway, so have a little look at where this is falling because it will give you an indication of what's actually happening and what areas of life are being activated for you at this point. So um Really, really helpful. So, for example, for me, because that's that sixth house of it's the new beginning is happening, my sixth house of daily work, it's trining my second house of finances. So setting a new intention around taking a step in work, maybe making a change and stepping into a new beginning of some sort, and knowing that we've got that Pluto, that transformative power of Pluto that is supporting that new beginning in my second house of finances. So that can give me an indication that if there's something coming to the surface right now that maybe looks like a possibility, setting clear intentions and taking physical, tangible action towards those intentions in that area of life is so incredibly supported. So that's how we can really use that energy to our fullest advantage, depending on where it is falling in your chart. So, um, this is also, this new moon is co-present with Jupiter. So Jupiter transits roughly last a year. So this only happens once every 12 years. Jupiter brings growth, optimism, and opportunities, and it really expands wherever it is. So to be fair, if it is kind of, it can also expand things like if we're having an excess of something, it can make things bigger. So that's the only slightly negative impact of Jupiter. But Jupiter is generally a benefic planet. It brings growth, expansion, broadening our horizons. So again, another really, really supportive part of this new moon is the fact that Jupiter is just opening that chart area of your chart up, as well as the new beginning, and as well as all those supportive aspects from those other planets as well. Um, so this is transformative, it's new and it's dynamic, and there's just so much power because we've got Pluto supporting this. Again, it's clear-mindedness, it's clarity, it's the ability to take concrete steps forward, and it's a sprinkling of boldness to begin as well, because we do have those planets in Aries there that do want to go first, that do have the courage to actually take action and go forward, along with a new beginning. So yes, Saturn tempers it and makes it a bit more sensible. However, that boldness, a little sprinkling of boldness is there, like a little bit of support, a little bit of a push from that Aries energy to be like, you want to do this? Go bloody do it. So and then on the same day, Mercury and Gemini is gonna make a trine to Pluto and Aquarius. So again, all tied up in this new moon energy, and it's just very, again, like very, very supportive of this new moon energy and just kind of doubling up, right? Because not only do we have the new moon in Gemini, it's already trining Pluto, and then Mercury is then gonna move ahead and make a trine with it as well. So it's just very active. It's very active, and it's just pinging all the nice things that could possibly happen in a chart right now. So I'm very happy with it. And then on Friday, the 30th of May, Mercury is then going to move past that new moon point and then make a conjunction with the sun. So this is called a Cazimi when when a planet comes together with the sun, it kind of resets its cycle. And this is happening at 9 degrees. So again, this is just another moment of clarity. It's another moment of like a great day for conversations. Like all of this air energy is so helpful for communication, but Friday is very much this just really lovely opportunity to kind of have the conversation that's expansive, have the conversation that's going to get you somewhere. So we can basically at the beginning of the week, we've got all of this new intention energy. We've got all of this to kind of birth something new, plant some seeds. And then Friday, the 30th of May, it feels like it's carrying on that conversation, but maybe a conversation happens there that's going to shift this into gear. So pay attention to the conversations you have on Friday, even if you're not sure if it's something that is significant, because chances are it might be, right? It might be setting you up for something. And this is why astrology is so helpful, because there are certain periods of life where we have a transit happening and we might not see it as something that is significant. But if we understand what's happening within our astrology chart, then we can notice that actually things that might have come up then, like an opportunity or a conversation you had with someone that you didn't think anything of, but then in 10 years became the career path that you chose to take or whatever, right? So that it gives us conscious awareness around the fact that there are certain things that are happening in our lives right now that have more meaning than we are able to kind of cognitively understand at that period of time, right? So pay attention, because the conversations you're having this week have so much charge and so much support and so much potential to actually help you move forward, depending on what area of life in your chart this is falling. So if it's falling in your seventh house, have that conversation with your partner, have that conversation with your business partner. If it's happening in your third house of siblings, maybe talk to your sister about starting that business that you've always thought about doing, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. If it's the eighth house of like other people's money, taxes, then that is, it's like things that you kind of own with others or that other people are involved in. Then having that difficult conversation about those finances or investment or, under talking to a financial advisor is very like eighth housey, right? So anything like that, look at where this is falling in your chart. You can get a free birth chart from our website. Go to the link in the bio or go to a handpickedlife.com. There's a button at the top of the page which will take you straight in so you can find your birth chart. But just go and have a look because this is such a nice week and it's really just setting us up for such a lovely June. Um, and then guys on the membership, we've got some really lovely journal prompts this week. We've got some really supportive classes on grounding. The belt and the bridge flow practices that we've been working with this week are going to really support that as well. And then I've also popped in there for the recommended practices this week, walking the figure eight, that manifestation technique that we worked with about kind of getting your energy into alignment with the things that you're calling in. Because this is such a supercharged new moon, this is such a great time to be working with practices like that. Because not only are we planting seeds, we're then getting our energy aligned and then drawing us to it. So it's only a 15-minute practice. It's absolutely brilliant to work with. I would encourage you to do it a couple of times this week if you can, as well as those grounding ones as well, because when we're grounded and, even making sure you're grounded before you then go set intentions. So, you've got that clarity of mind, you're present in your body and you're paying attention, to how you can actually what seeds and intentions you're planting, but then also what are the concrete actionable steps to getting there, and also being fluid and flexible this week as well, and knowing that that could be open to change. So the journal prompts for this week help you set a vision, set a North Star, but then also get clear on some actionable steps while allowing for space for things to change because it's Gemini season, right? It's mutable air. And the whole point of this energy is about being adaptable and dynamic, right? So that's not bad. This is what this energy is here to teach us. Out of balance, it can be fickle and it can be scattering. In balance, it can be incredibly helpful and it enables us to not break. It's like when we're too rigid, then that, like when the tree is too rigid, that's when it breaks in the wind, right? But it needs some flexibility. And that's what Gemini season can really teach us. So setting some goals is really helpful. And I see this in my coaching practice all the time. Like setting goals is really helpful. Having a North Star is helpful. However, the steps that you think are going to get you there often change along the way. So that adaptability is as important as setting measurable goals that can help you start, right? Because they help you get going. But when we're reflecting regularly and paying attention, that's when we can actually get there with a lot more consciousness and a lot more ease because we are adapting and fine-tuning and moving as we go. So I hope you all enjoy the energy this week. I hope you have a wonderful week. We have such a nice June. I am so excited for June. So this really is a new beginning point that is setting us up for success for June, right? So this is like, it feels like the new beginning, like the threshold moment of stepping into a phase of a really solid 6 weeks of just some really lovely, helpful, supportive energy. So I hope you all have a lovely week. And I will see you all for another energy update next week. Lots of love. Mwah.